Hey guys, Steven of TST Industries here. Today I'm going to be installing these front fork sliders for the 2006 and up Yamaha R6. These are affordable crash protection items that install through your front axle, and they help protect your fork bottoms, brake calipers, and all of that corresponding components in the front. These are really straightforward to install. They're very affordable, coming in at under $38. And you can even find these packaged up in what we call a total crash protection pack for the 06 and up R6 that includes these fork sliders along with a couple additional items at a discounted rate. Let's begin by opening up our box here and checking out what we have inside. You can see we have the two pucks that are going to be installed on either side of the front axle, a new fork axle nut to replace the OEM one. We have a rod that's going to go through the front axle, and this is what the two pucks are going to be fastened into. So we're going to take some of these out and start to install a little bit of this kit right here at the table. I'm going to begin by taking the shorter of the two fasteners, installing it through the puck that has this on it. The other side has a depression in it, which is where the axle nut can fit. So we're going to be leaving this one alone and taking this puck along with the smaller of the two fasteners. I'm going to insert it through the puck and then go into one of the sides of the rod. Now, a quick note, we have found that Womet-Tech will sometimes include these black powder coated rods or natural aluminum ones, just kind of depending on when they've been manufactured. Understand there is no difference with the product or the installation between the two, and in reality the coloring doesn't really do anything for you, so shouldn't be any difference there. But at this point we can finish at this stage in the game. The kit actually includes some colored stickers that you can apply to the end of the puck in order to suit the color scheme of your R6. And it just so happens that the owner of the 2009 R6 behind me is a sticker application wizard. And so I'm gonna let him install these stickers on these pucks, and then we're gonna head on over to the bike and finish up this installation. Okay guys, the stickers have been installed. We're ready to get it onto the bike. We're gonna begin on the axle nut side of your R6, where we're going to want to remove this guy completely. This is going to take a 22mm socket, break this guy loose. Okay, and now just remove it completely. And I will show you guys a quick comparison between the factory axle nut and the Womet-Tech. Womet-Tech is going to be aluminum in construction, so right away we're going to be tightening this down in just a minute. We will not want to torque it anywhere near the factory steel fastener spec. And the other thing you'll notice is that the Womet-Tech nut has a hollowed center, which is what permits the fastener that will hold on the slider puck onto the assembly to go through here and into the rod. Now, before we get that axle nut on there, on this particular generation of the R6, there's actually a rubber insert on the other side of the axle that we're going to have to punch through from this side. We simply want to knock it out of the axle so that we can get the Womet-Tech slider rod in here. So I have this pretty long punch that I'm going to use to knock it out, along with a rubber mallet. You guys can use anything that's just long enough and can fit through your axle. Just be a little careful whenever you do this. You don't want to manhandle anything, and it should just take a couple of punches. Sometimes they'll be a little bit more stuck than others depending on how old your R6 is. We'll see how this one goes. Gonna give myself a quick check, see how I'm doing. We're getting very close. This particular one's trying to be a little nasty on me. Here we go. Okay. I believe I can just grab it at this point. I can. So to give you guys a real quick detailed view of what that looks like. At this point, we're going to be taking the assembly that we put together at the table and inserting it from the right side of the bike. Everything is just finger tight at this point. I'm going to go through the axle. And again, the extension on this particular putt is going to go into the axle at that point. Coming on over to the other side of the bike, I'm now going to take that Womet-Tech axle nut, and this is whenever we're going to install it on here. So go ahead and fasten it in. Be very careful that you do not cross thread this. It is just aluminum. Womet-Tech recommends that we tighten this down to 35 foot-pounds. So I have my torque wrench right here ready to go. And we're good there. And then to finish this up, we're going to be taking our other puck that has the pocket in it that will accept the new axle nut, inserting the longer fastener of the kit through the puck, and now we can go through this nut, and we're going to be accepting the rod on the other side. This is where I'm going to take another 6mm Allen key. Going to need this on both sides, and we're just going to be tightening these together. So getting this started, there we go. Be sure that you do not cross thread these fasteners into that Womet-Tech rod that's going through here. That is also just aluminum, so it could be pretty easy to mess up those threads. Now, being mindful that we have that aluminum rod in there, we want to tighten down these fasteners that are holding on the pucks to a reasonable amount. It doesn't need to be anything excessive. We just want to preload the fasteners a little bit so that they don't come out from the vibrations while riding. So I'm just going to give this a little bit. That should be good. Whenever you install those fasteners into the rod, if you're doing this for a permanent installation, I would recommend using thread lock compound on both sides. That way you can install these particular fasteners that hold on the pucks to a reasonable amount, and then with the thread locking compound, you can be even more certain that they won't be vibrating loose on you. So at this point in the game, this R6 is ready to ride. As you can see, the owner has chosen to go with the red sticker here to match the color scheme on their bike. Looks really sharp. And in just a couple of minutes, we've now improved the crash protection performance on the front end of this R6. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Otherwise, I encourage you to head on over to tstindustries.com where you can learn more about these fork sliders for the R6 or get them ordered online. Otherwise, this has been Steven. Catch you guys next time.